everyone. It is with great pleasure that I participate in this event to talk about Black music performance and the Christian cosmovision from my master's research work in ethnomusicology. My name is Miriam de Oliveira. I am a master graduated in ethnomusicology from Universidade Federal do Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil. I'm a specialist in music education, graduated in music, and I work as a music teacher in the municipal network in Porto Alegre in early childhood education. My master thesis was entitled Black Gospel, an ethnomusicology study with the Family Soul group from Rio Grande do Sul. It was a research carried out between 2016 and 2018 under the guidance of Professor Dr. Maria Elizabeth Lucas. This is the group Family Soul, a group of members of the Black majority, and they had a choice of the repertoire of the soul genre and the gospel genre and the musical performance and a visual aesthetic of Black identity. Not only to participate in circular events, but so that this performance could also be present in the liturgy of the cults. So they were invited to participate in the cults with their performance of their musicality. My first meeting with the group was in 2014 at the Baptiste da Brasa Church in an event called Black Music. Different groups participated in this event, and the family group presented a musical performance, a visual aesthetic of ethnic racial belonging to Black protagonism within an evangelical liturgy. Participation in the cult within the liturgy and at this moment brought me several concerns and curiosity to get to know the group more and understand how the performance and that identity was built. At this moment, the desire to research was born, the desire to understand how the music and performative identity of the group was built, how the network social musical relationships were established, how the centrality of the musical practice, the constitution of the ethical belonging within this group was created, in the context that is an evangelical context in the south of our country, in which characteristics unique to understand the social process mediated by musical performances contribute to the affirmation of an identity of ethnic racial belonging in the evangelical context in the south of our country. This is Eliezer Felix, the founder of the Family Soul group. Initially, the name of the group was RM Soul, that took the name of the church World Renewal Kojic, a church affiliated with the Church God in Christ, an African American church. So this was a branch church here in Brazil. And initially, the group started in this church. When I started the research in 2016, the group was going through a transformation because Eliezer had already died due to bone cancer, and the group was then in a new format, an independent format, not linked to the responsibility of the evangelical denomination, but each member in this group at the time, they congregated in different denominations, and they met as a group to assume musical commitments in different churches with this musical performance and with the Black ethnic racial identity. I had the opportunity to accompany the Family Soul group in different evangelical churches at different times, in which they were able to participate with their musicality as well as in rehearsal. In the rehearsal, there was a greater proximity. I could understand the learning dynamics of repertoire choice and understand a little more of their trajectories from which church and each one had passed to understand the musical traditions and how which church related to music. and how they articulated and modified and transformed this learning for this new proposal that they had of ethnic racial belongings, that they had this intention to convey a Christian message through a black musical performance. So in rehearsals, they dedicated themselves to rehearsing a single, The Greatest Work, which was a song that he composed before he died, but he couldn't record it. So they had a mission to record and rehearse, to go to studios and share voices, so that it came out in the best possible way, and it was a very beautiful production. The group started with Eliezer and these three members, Fabrícia, Gessé, and Gedielson. They have a family connection, but even though they are from the same family, they initially belonged to different denomination, and it was in Cogic, in the church God in Christ, a filial here in Brazil, that they felt the freedom to fulfill a desire to express themselves musically through musicality in black performance. They had musical influence, and their repertoire was based in African American music and some Brazilian groups. And they also had to maintain a performance black musical. And at Cogic Day, they felt more deliberate, and they started a family soul group. The group shared with different memories of his trajectories from the beginning of the group, of the different churches that they had already participated in different moments from the beginning of the founder's death. There was an impact that this had on the group, and these photos shared with us then portrays the first of their participation in the State of Black Awareness Week, and the other photo, a participation in the program of a work talking about musicality here in our state. The family soul group participated in different evangelical denominations, and the church had a different way of interacting with the music, in a way of interacting bodily. So the group kept its visual, aesthetic, and musical performance independent of the church that invited. For each church, I highlighted here with a title thinking about how the interaction of the group with the church was. A dance like David, musical performance and participatory performance. It was a day when they participated in the Assembly of God of the Revival, a church that accepted the group's proposal, even through at the different way of interacting with the music. They participated with clapping, they participated with dancing, and tried to interact and know the lyrics of the song, so they could participate as well. Singing to Heaven, Black Mode of Worship, was a meeting of bands. In this event, the proposal was different. It was a meeting of different bands. There were rap bands, there were rock bands, and there was a family soul group. So all the people who went to this meeting knew what would happen. Not everyone was on the same proposal, and everyone interacted in a spontaneous and interactive way. The Pentecostal sound. Cogic first anniversary in the light of the world. This church is the church where the group was founded, so they had total freedom and participated so much in the relationship with the church, with those who were present there. Everyone knew the repertoire. Everyone interacted bodily. Everyone interacted singing with clapping and dancing. The Pentecostal sound is because the soundscape of the church had different characteristics from the others. The music, the keyboard, the vocal interaction of the people, both at the same time with the music. And at the time of the sermon was accompanied by a keyboardist who was a complement to the nuances of the preacher's voice and preacher's performance of the vocal intonation. And there was also the black performance of adoration and receptivity. It was a meeting of the Baptist Church of Brasa in the North Zone, a church that usually doesn't have this black musical performance in the liturgy of the service, but they were still receptive. They interacted and they were very welcome to the group and black performance at that time. There are some photos of the meetings. In the first photo of Kojik at the Church of God in Christ, the photo above at the meeting of the bands below at the Assembly of God Church shows a little bit of each moment. When the group presented different proposal, the interactions were different. This is the group's visual identity, and it was three very important components that were internationally designed to identify the group's cosmovision and their intention and what message they are going to convey. The raised hand means worship. The black power hair represents the group's style, and the cross on the chest refers to the message of Christ. There were some of the authors chosen in our theoretical path that were of paramount importance for the understanding of the field, so that we could look holistically at the details and nuances present in the research field. I highlight three ethnomusicologists who were very important in this research trajectory in understanding the field. Cultures that cross Africa that are very similar to Brazil, also reflecting on the impacts and cultural transformation and also the way Africans adapted and negotiated and transformed this musical practice. Historian German Jackson, on the other hand, analyzed musical dynamics within the evangelical context, describing the challenges internally, the propagation of the music practice by Christian outside the times, becoming a popular and commercial music. The author also reflects on these impacts that the commercialization of Christian music had on the spread of the gospel and the relationship between Christians and black empowerment, in the opening for women to have influence both inside and outside the church. Melanie Burnham, she was also very important. She was a black Christian woman researcher who investigated African American evangelical denominations. And the author signed the importance that these interlocutors demonstrate in collaborating, in breaking with denominational barriers, and wishing that their songs were writing in precision and sensitive as well. Finally, in this research, it was possible to understand how the transit of interlocutors in different evangelical denominations, such as communication with the African American musical culture and with the universes of gospel music mediated by the media, forged new ways of relating to music and to act within this musically, within the evangelical context, within the liturgy of evangelical churches here in the south of our country. The interlocutors, they did not perceive any dissonance in relationship to the Black American musical performing culture in the practice of the Christian faith. Despite the group, it does not exist in the same format as before. Today, we can perceive the different spaces that the black person puts himself, that musicality and black performance is present, that's expanding our vision of different possibilities that do not fit in a matrix, a single format, but that reflect different blacks of the black cultures, of the different visions and worldview present in Africa and in the African diaspora. I would like to thank everyone for your attention, and now I will pass the word to my colleague Antoniel Martins Lopes, a student of master's degree in ethnomusicology from Universidade Federal do Rio Grande do Sul, Brasil.